After the attack on the academy, Lilly had retreated to the senior barracks and finally got the rest she'd been longing for since first arriving in the city. A whole 2 days without a single interruption from insufferable students. She'd facetiously thanked the mysterious invaders for her renewed vigor while slipping into her simple black robe before coming here to the Hall of Justice to meet with Lady Aribeth de Tylmarande about the missing Waterdhavian creatures and the Wailing Death. Yeah, and actually I'd like to point out that I guess now that Lilly's had a chance to properly rest, she probably looks a little bit more like herself. No longer has that, I guess, sickly green light cast upon her. Back in her proper black attire, maybe even black lipstick, and I guess what's more or less her natural eye color of lavender, though it probably changes according to mood. But thanks to Darziak for fixing up this portrait image. So thanks again for that. Abbot Fenthick Moss and Watch Knight Desther Indelayne, like two dogs. One a faithful puppy, the other a rabid hound anxious to bite. If only Lilly can convince their master of how ill-deserving they are of her house.
You were quick to answer the summons. Allow me to be the first to welcome you to the halls of justice.
Of course, this is Fenthick welcoming Lilly.
This is a mistake, Fenthick. We know nothing about this whelp. How can you so blindly trust them?
Alright, of course, Desther interjecting, calling Lilly a wizard. Desther, please. Lilly showed great promise throughout her training at the academy, has done even more in the weeks since the attack. Rarely has a recruit shown such potential after so short a training period. I don't think she appreciates that they're speaking about her as if she's not even here. If we're to have any hope of finding a cure for the Wailing Death, we need people like Lilly. Yeah, at first she was concerned about making an impression on Fenthick, betrothed to Aribeth. But I think she's confident she'll be able to separate the two. And if so, she's not as concerned anymore about making a good impression. I don't think she'd put it this way, though. Talking about being recompensated for her time and resources spent. Alright, Desther thinks that's callous regardless. Such callous disregard for the suffering of others. Is this the kind of mercenary we want working for us, Fenthick? There is nothing wrong with wanting to earn one's fortune in the world, Desther. Reassuring Lilly that she'll be rewarded for her efforts. And asking her to forgive Desther. The plague takes a heavy toll on us all, a toll made even greater in the past weeks by the attack on the academy and the loss of the cure. Oh, she's still instilted. You do not understand, Lilly. The true horror of the Wailing Death has yet to be felt within the academy's walls. The quarantine of Neverwinter has done little to halt the spread of the Wailing Death. Bonfires burn night and day as the city watch dispose of the dead, yet the corpses are piled ever higher. It's all we can do to contain the chaos and maintain order. Rumors are running rampant. Alright, asking about these rumors. Because the plague cannot be cured by the priests or clerics of the city, some claim it's an unnatural thing sent by an unknown enemy bent on destroying Neverwinter. And of course, these priests and clerics include the Helmite order that Watch Knight Desther leads. She's probably guessing that's why he's so agitated. Can't do anything about it. Yeah, here he is. The attack on the academy in these past few weeks will only make things worse, Fenthick. Once people learn how Aribeth lost the cure through her lack of faith. Some claim. Desther, I'll not have you question the faith of my true love. Aribeth believed the academy to be a safe haven. Anyway, it's not our place to even discuss such things. My Lady Aribeth is in charge, appointed by Lord Nasher himself to stop the Wailing Death. Asking Lilly to speak with her. Of course she will. I think she'd like to ask a few things first. Yeah, if they know anything more about the attack on the academy. We learned very little in the week after the attack occurred. You're one of the few who survived, Lilly. saying the instructors were slaughtered and only a handful of the students left. I think she assumed that all the students had perished. You must uphold the legacy of the Academy, Lilly, but I know you'll be equal to the task. But there's little else he can say. We have yet to uncover the identity of the mysterious assailants. St. Aribeth might be able to tell us more. Yeah, how serious is this plague? Despite the city-wide quarantine, the Wailing Death spreads quickly, even here in the Hall of Justice. You can see by the afflicted all around us, of course, on these bedrolls on the ground. Desther and I do what we can to comfort these poor souls, but we can do little else. Not even Neverwinter's most powerful priests can heal or raise those who contract the Wailing Death, including Desther's Helmites. Yeah. How contagious is it? Desther claiming, our faith protects us. Only the faithless need fear the Wailing Death, as I and my Helmites have proclaimed many times. Yeah, but it doesn't hold that kind of faith in any god. Desther, please. No one yet knows how the plague spreads. Though contact with the infected does not seem to be a catalyst. Wow, that's good news. How much faith she has in that claim? Not really sure. People are burning bodies and locking themselves indoors, though, just to be safe. People are scared. They're on the verge of panic and open rebellion. And the City Watch struggles to keep order. The panic will get worse when people learn of the attack on the Academy and how Aribeth lost the cure. He's so quick to condemn. Desther. I'll not have you speak ill of the woman I love, Desther. Should not even be discussing this. Aribeth must decide who's given such information. She's the one in charge. Yeah. Lilly's concerned for her own health. What if she does contract this Wailing Death? Or he's not willing to discuss it. I must obey the chain of command and my Lady Aribeth is in charge. Tell Lilly the truth, Fenthick, says Desther. Aribeth had the cure and she lost it because she trusted those of the Academy over my Helmite brethren. So it certainly does sound like an issue of temple jurisdiction, if that's how you'd put it, between the Helmites and the Tyrans, possibly. Over who might get credit for saving Neverwinter from the Wailing Death. I'll not have you speak ill of the woman I love, Desther. Angry again. Alright, asking what Fenthick is actually doing. I do whatever my Lady Aribeth commands, Lilly. Lord Nasher himself appointed her to oversee our efforts to find a cure. He could not have made a better choice. Aribeth has placed me in charge of discovering who's behind the attack on the Academy. If you ever come across such information, you may report it directly to me. Though I'm sure she'd probably go to Aribeth first. In fact, she's hoping that if she does find anything out, he won't even be around anymore. They'll have broken off their engagement. And of course, I do what I can to ease the suffering of those within Castle Never, who have been infected with the Wailing Death, though they're beyond my power to save. Excuse me. Alright. Of course, a little question about his love for Lady Aribeth. She is young, but her faith, courage, and intelligence are beyond question, as is her beauty. You let your feelings for her cloud your judgment, Fenthick. Your lover is not without her flaws. Aribeth and I are of one heart and soul, is true, but that does not make her any less a paragon of virtue. None who serve Neverwinter are more capable than my Lady Aribeth. Alright. It's not going to ask about Desther is standing right there. Alright, asking where Lady Aribeth actually is. In the chamber beyond the north doors. Working tirelessly to put an end to the plague. Alright. Go with the blessings of Tyr upon you. If Lilly had to guess, the vicious old Helmite is old Bark.
Lord Nashor made a mistake when he appointed Aribeth to be in charge of finding a cure for the plague.
It certainly does sound like Desther. There's a bit of jealousy there. Would have liked the Helmites to have been put in charge of that.
My Helmites are better equipped to deal with this crisis of faith. People should put their faith in the gods, not in Lady Aribeth.
Crisis of faith. Okay. Crisis of faith. Lilly's crisis is that she has too little. To keep herself from breathing too deeply of the ill air and unsure whether to really believe Fenthick, Lilly puts her hand over her nose and mouth. An elven nurse is tending to a victim of the plague. If anyone, she ought to know how serious this is.
I greet you.
Of course, here's a nurse tending to one of the sick, asking how she may be of service to Lilly. I think Lilly's curious to hear it from a nurse. How bad is the plague, really? I've seen my share of the dead and dying since I started to work here tending the sick. Alright, asking what her credentials are. I was a midwife, before the plague. But there ain't many babies being born now, not live ones anyhow. I heard Castle Never needed nurses to tend their sick and dying, so I came. Well, we heard it's not quite contagious, but asking why the nurse isn't necessarily afraid. Some people won't have nothing to do with the sick. They board themselves up in their homes and don't come out for no reason, and they still get the Wailing Death. The Helmites don't catch it from helping the sick, so why should I? The plague takes who it wants, when it wants. Nothing anyone can do about that. Alright, so it certainly isn't contagious. I'm sure I would feel better not being around the sick. Alright. I think she would assume that she would have heard anything about a cure. There's no cure for the plague. Everybody knows that. All I can do is try to ease their suffering and make their last days less painful. Yeah, I don't think Lilly would divulge about a cure from Waterdeep. It doesn't look like we have a choice. A cure from Waterdeep? How are they going to get it here with Neverwinter under quarantine? Throw it up over the walls? You're talking crazy. Alright. May whatever gods you pray to keep you safe from the plague. Crazy. It's crazy to think Helm or Tyr will save any of these wretched people. The late Lady of Murder should know. She's lived among them in the plains. Should not appeal to the divine like some mere mortal for her well-being and fortune.
I greet you.
And here, of course, is another nurse. Yeah, I think actually she's in the room here. Yeah, with Fenthick and Desther. Now we're outside of earshot. Maybe she's heard a few things. I've heard my share. Desther and Aribeth are always arguing and Fenthick's always trying to keep the peace. None of them pay any attention to a quiet little nurse going about her duty, so I've heard all sorts of stuff about each and every one of them. It's exactly what Lilly wanted to hear. Probably about Desther first. Aribeth doesn't like him, I know that much. He's got a sharp tongue and a sour face, but I think it's more than that. But it's not really my place to speak of such things. Of course, telling Lilly would be no harm. Desther and his Helmites showed up soon after the plague started. Just in time to get locked inside the city when the quarantine hit. Desther says they came because they heard about Neverwinter's suffering, but it seems like odd timing to Lady Aribeth. Or so she told Fenthick once. Alright, asking what she might have heard Fenthick say. Poor Fenthick. He's caught in the middle between Desther and Aribeth. Always ends up having to pick one side or the other when they argue about how to save the city. You think he'd always side with Aribeth since they're lovers, but Fenthick's an honest man, and when Aribeth is wrong, he's not afraid to tell her so. Alright. wishing Lilly to be safe from the plague. While leaving, careful not to step in anything vile or infectious, Lilly whispers a promise to the nurse to pay good coin for anything substantial regarding the pup and the hound at Lady Aribeth's kennel. Driving out the mongrels might be easier than she first imagined, especially if Lady Aribeth suspects that rabid old Helmite already.